सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Okay, chanting, everything was over.
Yeah.
Now, last time we started the second sutra, Janmadesya Yataha. Any questions, clarifications on what we have done up to now?
Swamiji, I have one question.
Yeah, what is that?
One question regarding the connection to the Shruti Vakyam based on this sutra.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that this Shruti Vakyam here is Yatova Imani Bhutani.
Yes. Yeah.
How is that chosen, or
how is it?
reading the sutra? How is that connected? When we read the sutra, there is no mention of that. How do they connect the corresponding Shruti Vakyam to a particular sutra?
Now that is correct. How do you know? Well, the Sutrakara and you connected it. Then the tradition of teaching, like for example here the word Janmadhyasya Yataha is used. So when you are looking at it logically, see, you can't say it all has to be written down. This is a modern academic approach. Where is it written? Yataha. But that's only one word. Correct. That's only one word. That's why it's a sutra, not a bhashya. In a sutra, you will get only one word which will indicate multiple meanings. Therefore, asya jagatasya janmadhyasya yataha.
So the Yataha word.
So yataha word, then you immediately is okay. Yataha yasmat karanat. Then you will have to look karanam. Then karanam has to indicate both nimittam or upadanam. Therefore, yataha, by saying yataha, you know, yato imani bhutani jayante, there is a direct connection. Then there is all. Then you will have to look where are the other vakyas in the Shruti which are dealing with creation. So akamayata, bahusyam prajayeti, sa aikshata, all these words. Satyam jnanam anantam. Everything. Tasmad etasmad atmana sambhutaha, akasha sambhuta, etc. All these words are collected together. So Janmadhyasya Yataha is an analysis of all of these vakyas. What we call as Spashta Brahmalinga Vakyani in the first chapter. So the connection comes like that. You won't find anywhere in the sutra, oh, these are the thing. The bhashya will make it clear. The sutra only indicates Suchakam. Because remember, that is Alpaksharam Asandidam Saravat Vishwatomukam. That Saravat covers all this. Okay? You'll never find it written anywhere.
Thanks, Swamiji.
Yeah.
Swamiji,
Yeah?
in the Vaiyasik Nyayamala, the second verse, where Brahman, they say, is Trik Bhujangavat.
Karanam Srag Bhujangavat. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is indicative that it's the Upadana Karanam, Brahman, or is it both?
Both. It's indicated both, but it is Karanam, but Karanam for the Mithya, not Karanam as Satyaka. Therefore, that Brahman undergoes Vikara, etc. is negated by that.
Right.
By giving that example, Srag Bhujangavat, like mistaking a garland, a discarded garland for a snake. What you are saying is, Satya Mithya comes into the picture.
Sorry, Swamiji. So the Upadana, the part that there are different orders of reality becomes clear with the example.
Yeah.
How does Nimitta become, how does that?
Separate Vakya, Savakamaya, that's it.
I
So look at it, there are multiple Vakyas involved in one sutra.
Okay.
Therefore, an example given here or an example given there will be giving only one argument. Or one sutra, one Vakya. So the multiple Vakyas are involved in it.
Sure. Thank you.
So all that is summed up in this thing.
So mithya and delusion, कुछ difference है क्या same है?
All illusions are mithya, but all mithya is not illusion.
He's talking about delusion.
Once again, let me answer. all illusions are mithya. The rope, snake, etc. Because what is an illusion? Something that will disappear immediately. Correct? Like the rope snake disappears. All mithya is not illusion. My kurta is mithya or not?
But not an illusion.
Not an illusion. Yeah. Flat earth is mithya or not? Flat earth.
Yeah, it is mithya.
But is it an illusion?
No.
Does it disappear? No.
It's very much there.
Thank God. So that.
Swami,
Yeah. Yeah, Nita.
may I?
Yeah.
Swamiji, last time you compared two mithya, then you gave us a separate word for that mithya which I have not understood. One is rope snake and compared to creation on Brahman. That two types of mithyatam, and then you said there is a difference and you gave a word for that mithya. I have missed out on that.
One is purely pratibhasikam, one is vyavaharikam. One has got validity in vyavahara.
That is a rope snake.
Rope snake is doesn't have vyavahara yogitvam. Flat earth has vyavahara yogitvam. Pot and clay has vyavahara yogitvam. What other example I gave? Or what other explanation was I giving? You quote me what I said, then I will tell you what in what context.
Okay, Swamiji,
Yeah, quote me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Asya jagataha jannatasya yataha. Any other questions?
Yes, Swamiji, can I ask a question?
Who should?
Yeah, this when we say that all all illusions are mithya, so could we say that it's like pratibhasika? All pratibhasika will be illusions, no?
Well, you are getting lost in categorization. Understand that first. Because you now want to put everything in category. Ye pratibhasika, ye vyavaharika, ye. Mithya includes all of them. Since when did vyavaharika not become mithya?
The vyavaharika is mithya.
So now, so in the mithya category, can you say only pratibhasika, only? No.
No.
Everything is mithya. Now within the mithya, you make categories of saying some are purely pratibhasikam, some are vyavahara yogya. Yeah. Just to make a difference in what you're dealing with. Yeah. That some have got validity in vyavahara, some doesn't have validity.
Okay.
But they are not watertight compartments.
Yeah.
You saw a rope snake. Snake is purely delusional. Okay?
Yeah.
But your heartbeat going up is vyavaharikam or not vyavaharikam?
Vyavaharikam, of course.
Somebody fainting out of fear is vyavaharikam or not vyavaharikam?
Vyavaharikam, yeah.
So can you make watertight compartments?
Okay, so there
No.
are different degrees of mithya.
Even though you are not trying to understand what I am saying, you are still stuck on the categorization. I am saying even though we divide into categories, it is not watertight compartments. That's what I am trying to say. Yeah, because you saw a snake and you fainted. It's a mithya snake. What did happen? Your heartbeat went up. Heartbeat went up is measurable, vyavaharikam. So each influences the other. You can't categorize it and say this is completely different. Nothing is completely different.
Okay.
And you can't even say, oh, this is mithya, this is satyam, different.
Yeah.
Because mithya is dependent on satyam.
Yeah.
Otherwise it will not become mithya, it will become another order of reality. You want to say pratibhasikam is dependent on vyavaharikam or not?
Yes.
How?
Because when I see the thing, then only I think of something else.
Exactly.
Then I imagine
so thinking,
something else.
feeling, imagining, all that is based on vyavaharika. Vyavaharika triggers off. The vyavaharika triggered off everything. Yeah. The vyavaharika triggered off everything. Even when you are taking dream state, it's depend on vyavaharika only.
Yeah.
Where did you get the samskaras for
Yes.
pratibhasika dream? Vyavahara. Asmin Janmani Janmantareva, that also can be added. So the whole thing comes into that picture like that. Okay.
Thank you, Swami.
Any other questions before we go ahead?
Yeah. Somebody else is there?
No, shoot, Nita.
No, I wanted to understand Bhada Samanadikaranya. I don't so clearly, and what is the importance of it?
Okay. What is Samanadikaranyam? You have to understand Samanadikaranyam before you understand Bhada Samanadikaranyam. What is Samanadikaranyam? Nita Ben.
Yes, Swamiji. That the definition is suddenly it doesn't.
भिन्न प्रवृत्ति निमित्तानां पदानां एकस्मिन् बिम्बे तात्पर्यम्. So big blue fragrant lotus is Samanadikaranyam or not Samanadikaranyam? Okay. Now, one second. Now, when I say snake is rope, is it Samanadikaranyam or not Samanadikaranyam?
Not some.
No, I don't. Snake is rope.
Soyam Devadatta, is it Samanadikaranyam or not Samanadikaranyam?
Yes.
Why? Because referring to one and the same entity.
One and the same entity.
Now I am saying snake is rope.
You are referring to the same entity, rope. That's right.
So here, what is the difference between snake is rope and big blue fragrant lotus?
Adjectives are not there.
In one, the adjectival relationship is possible. Big blue fragrant, all are adjectives or lotus. Snake is rope. Is it adjective?
No, it's not a
So, snake is rope will make sense only if the snake is negated or not.
Yes, Swamiji.
So, snake is rope is a statement of negation, correct?
Yes.
Because to understand you have to negate.
Yes.
Such a statement is called Bhada Samanadikaranyam.
Oh,
So, when you indicate Janmadyasyataha, Brahman's definition, is Bhada Samanadikaranyam. Because is Brahman really the cause of the Jagat?
no.
Is it not the cause?
No, that was you can't.
Oh, Bhada Samanadikaranyam. Can you see that?
No.
No.
It's a mithya cause of a mithya world. Therefore, Bhada Samanadikaranyam comes into the picture.
So it is something like.
But what if we don't
Yeah.
name invent a separate word, and it makes it more complicated?
But you love technicalities. I have always seen you using technicalities.
Swamiji, Bhad
Okay,
would
Swamiji, thank
be
you.
One second. Yeah. Yes, Kavita. Yes.
so Bhad would be negating
Yeah.
something to so
Understand
that
the
to
truth,
understand.
Yeah. So even Tattvamasi is Bhada Samanadikaranyam. Wherever Lakshana is used, is Bhada Samanadikaranyam. Wherever something has to be negated for you to understand it, it's Bhada Samanadikaranyam. If Samanadikaranyam is there, the first place.
Yeah, first thing.
Yeah, that has to be also.
So Swamiji, in
educated.
that case, then the mithyatvam of the Jagat. So when we call creation, then we are talking about the creator, right? So the idea of Ishvara comes only when we are talking of Jagat.
Correct.
So if you negate the Jagat, then you have to negate Ishvara also.
Ishwaratvam has to be.
Ishwaratvam. So the
Karanatvam has to be negated, not even Ishwaratvam. Say Karanatvam has to be
Because
negated.
I just read an article on this, that is there a God? Why should there be a God? What is God?
Hmm.
So the writer was just trying to say that there is no God. But he's saying he's referring it to as consciousness. So it was just a general article which was written somewhere. So I said
Fair enough,
it
because
was, I think it was
alright.
in some college
Now, if
literature.
you want to get into that type of technicalities, okay.
Yeah, so then they were debating what is God and why is God, because the whole idea, God means, for in our case we can take Ishvara, so the whole idea is the necessity of Ishvara is only when we are talking about
See,
creation.
yes.
So if we are
Swamini's research, that PhD thesis, is only establishing the need for Ishvara. Why is Ishvara necessary? Tell me. You tell me now. If your why is the Sutra Janmadhyasya? Why is Ishvara presented as Karna?
It is necessary, otherwise we'll eat up each other.
Yeah,
No,
there is,
that is a different thing. Dharma is a different thing.
there, yeah.
Because
And,
even by accepting Ishvara, you will beat up each other.
No,
Because
but
your
we-
idea of Ishvara is
somebody
different,
may-
my idea of Ishvara is different.
yeah.
Why is the Indo-Pakistan problem going on? Your idea of Ishvara is different, my idea of Ishvara is different. I want to force my idea on you. So that is not what we are talking about here.
Is it so?
Because you
Or-
assume that
We are
that
talking
creation-
Ishvara as expounded in Vedanta, in the Shastra, in the Upanishad, and saying why is that necessary?
Because we take the creation, we take this whole world as a creation.
Therefore, if you don't have Ishvara, what is the problem?
Yeah.
We need a creator, no? If there's a
Why?
creation, then
Why do you need a creator?
Otherwise, how will the created come?
ऐसे आ गया
ऐसे कैसे आता है?
स्वभावतः
So we are facing
steady state universe in science.
Swamiji, we are living in this universe, so we need an explanation.
Thank God you are
for it.
living in this universe.
No, Swamiji,
It is so in there.
So we need an explanation for the experiences that we are getting.
You can explain in 100 different ways.
You know, it is intelligently put together.
So why is if it is intelligently put together?
Yeah,
Lot of
actually-
things are intelligently
No,
put
it's a
together.
very deep question. Why do we need
No,
God?
I need to
Postulates
understand
are
Ishvara.
conscious.
I am asking you, I am not asking you to establish an Ishvara. My question was, what is the need for Ishvara?
What is
The need for Ishvara is to understand Aikyam and then Sarvatma Bhava, because without understanding
This is a
Ishvara,
very
I will not
technical
understand
answer. I
that
don't
I
like this
am.
answer.
That's a good
uh,
answer. Collective whole. To understand there is one collective whole.
That is me.
After that you equate the identity. Without understanding a collective whole, how can you equate? Therefore, if you are going into an advanced text, like for example, Panchavadika, there consciousness itself is presented as Ishvara, which is fine. What is wrong over there? If the jiva is being presented as consciousness finally, then what is the problem of presenting Ishvara itself as consciousness?
It is
At the same time, you need to have that mithya relationship. If that mithya relationship is not there, then your sarvatma bhava will not be there. That I am everything will not happen. Now that whoever has written the article, I don't think he is bothered about establishing. I don't think he is bothered about establishing you as Ishvara, you as a limitless consciousness. He is not bothered about that. That's why he has written all that.
No, what was his point actually led me to deep think that if I close my eyes and sometimes I forget which idol I am praying to.
Other than or
If there is a temple and there is I like every Sunday either we go to Titwala or I go to a Jain Derasar. So it's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
like that. So we go to a temple. So when I close my eyes, I am so lost in the prayer, I forget which idol is there in front of me. So I was questioning myself that what am I anchoring to? What
you tell me what you are anchoring to.
Yeah,
You
so-
tell me. I know why should I tell you what you are anchoring to. You should
No,
tell
it's
me.
like I am relating to Ishvara, but I was not able to get the idol.
You
I
don't
was
have
not
to.
related to the idol.
Idol has served its purpose.
Okay,
Idol has served its purpose. You are lost in the thought of Ishvara as yourself.
that's it. Yeah.
So experientially, you and Ishvara is one there. Experientially. That's why in devotion the eyes get closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Forget
is-
it.
Remember that old story. Okay, this is slight digression but necessary to understand Ishvara. It's an old story. Two people going to Kedarnath in those days where you have to walk. No helicopter service available. But the helicopter service I think is closed for the time being until 15th.
That's a tragedy.
Yeah. So you are walking. And from Gaurikund it's quite a long walk. Those days 14 kilometers, now it is 18. And you are climbing 6,000 feet. So for people who are not used to that type of thing, it's tough. So they're walking. By the time you reach Ramvada, you are exhausted. That's halfway mark. Okay. Ramvada is halfway mark. I think even now it's halfway mark. I'm not sure. So it's so. Well then after that, when you start walking again, you sit down there, have something, some chai, vai pee lo, thoda kuch kha lo. Then you keep walking again. Now you start asking people. People are coming down. You see people coming down now by that time. Because halfway, you started from Gaurikund, they are starting from top. So halfway is now you see a lot of people coming down. अरे भैया कितना दूर है अरे यहाँ इधर पहुंच ही गया समझो कि पहुंच ही गया किधर गया वॉकिंग लगे आए तो ग्रुप कितना दूर है भैया अरे उस 2 मोड़ है ना 2 मोड़ के बाद अच्छा ओनली 2 turnings after the 2 turnings you see the whole road stretching out in front there are half a dozen turnings in front oh my god पहुंचेगा क्या नहीं आज ट्रेनिंग by the time you realize the wisdom of the advice given to you carry as minimum as possible just a change of underwear if at all nothing more than that and a shawl for the night but you have packed up things those in your backpack weighing 4-5 kilos 1 kilo is also too heavy my body is too heavy abhi kya but you still walk and everybody tells you oh mode ke baad ye finally you reach Garud Chatti and then you see the walk down there in the distance the temple abhi thoda josh aa gaya because now you can see it's still 2-3 kilometers but josh to aa gaya you reach okay and you splash some water on your face etc you don't have to have a bath before going into the temple there okay so after all this struggle you have reached and you go and say Jai Baba Ji ki and then what his eyes got closed his friends दर्शन करने के लिए बराबर दर्शन करना आंख क्यों बंद करते हैं does anybody say that elbows come on बराबर दर्शन करना why do you close your eyes I didn't close my eyes got closed this won't happen if you go by helicopter and come on because that little bit struggle and effort has to be there for your devotion to manifest itself I went by helicopter once and came back. I didn't even feel I had gone to Kedarnath. पूजा करके आया दर्शन हो गया पूजा हो गया सब हो गया बट लगा नहीं कि केदारनाथ गया so that's entirely a different thing the idol has served its purpose you don't need the idol anymore the murti is not necessary anymore it has served its purpose you and the object of devotion is one experientially now in Vedanta we are gaining the same thing knowledge wise cognitively that's important experience comes and goes that's why you'll find all devotees want to keep repeating that yatra keep wanting to keep this experience going why because the experience is like that you want to keep repeating and the second time is not like the first time nothing happens in the same way twice why because you are a changed person you won't believe it the first time I went to Kedarnath I reached in the afternoon evening I didn't go to the temple in the evening it was so crowded I said ye kya kar raha hai there were 80 of us 2 bus loads plus other so I went behind and sat where Shankara Samadhi is there I sat there I just sat there quietly simply sitting somewhere then after darshan a few people came on he's sitting there we also go and sit right then someone said did you conduct a meditation session I said no I just sat there had darshan of Kedarnath I said no कभी जाएगा, कल सुबह जाएगा. But tomorrow morning we are leaving by 7, no? Yeah. So leaving by 7, 6 o'clock you go into the temple. Nobody is there. A devotee will want to keep repeating the experience. It's a great experience. Even if a jnani wants to repeat it, it's okay. Why not? It's a nice experience. Is there a rule you should not repeat an experience? But don't depend on the experience for knowledge. Don't depend upon the experience for knowledge. That's the whole thing. The understanding. Janmaha, that understanding is what is important. Okay? So we saw the Tadguna, Bahuri, all that we saw. Okay? Sambandhartha, all that we saw. Now, after that, did we see the 72 sentence also?
Asya Jagataha.
That
No,
to
we
see.
have not done.
Yeah, we have to see that. Okay. Therefore, he says, then, now he is giving the meaning of the whole sutra in one sentence. Okay, what is that? Asya Jagataha. Janmadhyasya asya yataha, right? So, asya. Asya means what? Jagataha. What do you mean by Jagataha? He says, Nama Rupabhyam Vyakritasya. Jagata is what? That which is manifested, created. Nama Rupabhyam. With various names and forms. What is creation? Name and form. There is no other creation other than name and form. Aneka kartru bhoktru samyuktasya. Aneka, lots of karta bhoktas. Why mention them separate? Karta bhokta is one. No? Karta bhokta is not always one. A cook is a karta, all right. Is he a bhokta? He doesn't eat that food. Your maid comes to your home at 8 o'clock in the morning, cooks food and goes. She's not going to have lunch at 8 o'clock in the morning, is she? She's a karta, all right. You are the bhokta. So there are cases like that. You call a priest home to do a puja. Today I have to go for a Satyanarayana puja. So you are going for a puja. Okay? If you are going for a puja, the priest is the karta. Who is the bhokta? The yajamana, for whose the puja is being. You do the Shraddha ceremony for your ancestors. You are the karta. Who is the bhokta? Ancestors. Correct? So Vedikam, Laukikam cha. Karta, bhokta can be different. Okay. Need not always be this. Generally, yes, they are the same, but not always. For karma, karma phala, etc., yeah, you are karta, bhokta, all that is fine. But there are exceptions to that. Therefore, aneka kartru bhoktru samyuktasya. Because the world is meant for that. Creating karma, enjoying karma. Yeah, you have that both. Then pratiniyatasya deshakala nimitta kriyaphala ashrayasya. Pratiniyata, with a proper order there. Order of karma, etc. What? Desha kala nimitta. Any karma, any action has to be done in time and place. No? The result also will come in a given time and place. No? You did a karma for going to heaven. Where do you get the result? Deha patananantaram. After having done, after the body has dropped, meaning after death, later, another time, another place. Okay. So, anything is conditioned by time and place. Therefore, Desha Kala Nimittasya and Kriyaphala Ashrayasya. This creation, this Jagat, is what? Kriya Phala Ashrayam is the basis for karma and karma phala, both. It's a basis for you to do the karma. It is a basis for you to get karma phalam also in the future. Past karma you are getting now. Past karma you are getting now. That is also there. Therefore, Jagataha meaning of Jagat, okay? Yeah. Manasa api achintya rachana rupasya, which you cannot even conceive of. The variety you cannot even conceive of, he says. No human mind can conceive of it. On my palm there is a whole world here. No, I am not talking mystically. The world of the bacteria and the viruses. Whole world is there in it. Can you even understand the whole thing? The dimensions of the known universe. What? 500 million light years. How much we can mathematically say? That mathematics is only a number. Even for the scientists. Try to conceive it. Light takes 8 minutes from the sun to here. 8 minutes. 8 minutes for the light to travel from the sun to here. It's roughly 3 lakh kilometers. 3 lakh kilometers per second is the speed of light. So 8 minutes. Now imagine the distance. Can you have an idea of the distance now? 3 lakh kilometers multiplied by 8. Okay. Some idea you can still have because sun is perceived. Now imagine the light traveling in one day. 8 minutes is this much. One day kitna hai? Okay. Multiply by 365 for 1 year. 1 light year. It just become mathematical numbers. No concept. Then imagine 500 million light years. Up to what we can see now. Just a number. Can you really conceive of that distance? Even a scientist will struggle over it. And that is only what you can estimate in one dimension. That one dimension itself is bigger than that. Then like that we are talking about 14 dimensions. We can conceive only of 3 dimensions. 4 dimension itself is difficult to conceive. I have always given that example. No? We live in a 3-dimensional world. Length, breadth, height. Correct? Like the corner of the room. Length is there, breadth is there, height is there. What will be the 4th dimension? Let us say time. Time is the 4th dimension. That means the 4-dimensional figure will be what? He can go forward and backward in time, like how you and I can go forward and backward in space. Can you imagine what will be that life like?
Very interesting.
That means I can go back and meet the child that I was. Or I can go forward and see myself on my deathbed. Can I do that? Sitting in Samadhi.
And this is just one galaxy. You don't know how many galaxies.
Yeah.
This is just our galaxy.
So can you imagine? 4th dimension itself is difficult to imagine. Then imagine 14 dimensions क्या हो जाएगा? Even when the Puranas describe every dimension, some description. You will always have to describe in relationship with the 3 dimension. No? How else are you going to understand? Whose phone is making that noise? So, make it like that. No? That one dimension, second dimension, third, fourth, fifth, kidhar, how much can you make? It's impossible. Manasa api achintya rupasya rachana rupasya janma sthiti bangaha. The janma sthiti bangaha yataha janma sthiti bangaha yataha, the birth, origination, sustenance and destruction, yataha yasmat karana. What do you, when you say yasmat karanas, what do you mean? Sarvajnaha sarvashakte karana bhavati tad brahma iti vakyasesha. Vakyasesha means brought in from previous sutra. Because that is Brahman was said. What is Brahman is being said, na? Athato Brahma Jignasa. Then next will be, what is that Brahman? Brahman is Janmadhyasya Yataha Tad Brahma. That Tad Brahma is brought in from the previous sutra. Adhyaya. Okay? Alright, that means what? He says, Sarvajnaha Sarvashaktihi. Now, the Shastra presents Ishvara like this. Sarvajnaha Sarvashaktiman, etc. To understand that, you can use the logic presented by Nyaya. Nyaya Shastra. Nyaya Shastra tries to establish Brahman through logic. That is not possible. That is not possible. But those arguments can be used to understand Ishvara. Simple logic. Gatasya karta, gataknyaha, patasya karta, pataknyaha. One has made the pot should know the pot. Know means what? What it is, what is the function for it, what is it meant for. All that you should know. No? What material is to be used, all that he has to know. Okay? Similarly, patasya karta, one is making cloth. To understand what that cloth is meant for. Including seasonal approach, what season the cloth is meant for. Okay? Even that is necessary. Imagine wearing 100% terrain. Blend itself is difficult. Imagine 100% synthetic. So, all that the Pataknyaha is to know. Therefore, you postulate from that, you extend in Nyaya, Sarvasya Karta has to be Sarvajnaha. It's an extension of that argument, which is fine. Once the Shastra has established there is Ishvara. Okay? Because the Pramana cannot be from within the creation. Pramana has to be either from the source of the creation. So that the Pramana is from the source of the creation, we will see in the next sutra. Okay? In the next sutra we will see that. How the Shastra is from Ishvara, etc. That we will see. Right now here, Sarvajna, Sarvashakti, the capacity to create also has to be there. Now look at it. Even though the way the sutra presented it looks like material cause. Here he is talking about Nimitta Karanam, isn't it? Why? Because they are not separate. They are not separate. Yeah. If Nimitta Karanam and Upadana Karanam was separate, then you can say, oh, that is Upadana Karanam, not Nimitta Karanam. You can say that. But here it is not separate, it is one and the same. If it is one and the same, then it is the logic to establish Nimitta Karanam is easier. In fact, if you look at all religions will talk about Nimitta Karanam. because we always try to personalize the whole thing. Because we move the logic that we know. No? Now, why is this has to be said? Okay.
Nimitta Karanam means material cause.
Upadanam is material, nimitta is instrumental or intelligent.
Okay.
Now, this has to be said because later on also will be. There can be some arguments given. Okay, I'll introduce a topic and then highlight it later. There can be other arguments. No? As I said today morning, when you said why Ishvara. No, creation is always there. Steady state universe. Science also talked about it long time back. The steady state universe always. Swabhavataha, it's a lokajita argument. Naturally it is there. That's the nature of, I say, yeah. The problem of that argument will be then there is no cause-effect relationship. That means the tree will have to be the cause of the tree, the seed will have to be the cause of the seed, the kurta will have to be the cause of the kurta, the cloth will have to be the cause of the cloth only. Because everything is steady. No? So the whole cause-effect relationship goes haywire. But within the creation we see there is cause-effect relationship. So how are you extending and saying it's steady state? In fact, if you are using a logic, you have to extend from what you know to that. So what you know, there's nothing steady state. Whether it is a human creation or nature's creation. From a cashew seed, you're going to get cashew, not watermelon. Or a coconut. That's how it is. The cause-effect relationship is there. Then how are you saying, if there's a cause-effect relationship in the world, how are you extending and saying, by what logic are you extending and saying, universe is always there? Give me a logical explanation. If everything is time-bound, space-bound, then everything is time-bound, space-bound. Another one. How are you extending it? That's why science quietly dropped it. Then Sankhya come and say, Pradhana is the cause. Maya is the cause. But not by itself. That's why the word Saikshata is important. In fact, the 5th Sutra says, Aikshate na shabdam. It cannot be pradhanam for the simple reason that sa kamayata, sa aikshata, bahusyam prajayeti, all these statements are there. He saw what the previous creation was and he presented this one similar to that, aikshata. Aikshata can only mean he conceived of it first and created it. Like how we also do the same thing. No? Before we create anything, we have to conceive of it, isn't it? Next week, cook is on leave. Acha, cook is on leave. So you have to cook something. What are you going to cook? Some conception has to be there, na? Hey, my cooking is very simple. Yaar. I don't believe in wasting time on cooking. So what do? राइस डालता है, दाल डालता है, वेजिटेबल डालता है, मसाला डालता है, सब डालता है, वो एक कुकर में हो जाता है काम. So there is a concept or not? Even for this agram bagram cooking. Okay. In Sanskrit there is a name for it. It's called paktrimam. Proper cooking is pak. You know, you're making something. But you just rustle up something. You see that? Casserole. Casserole. Paktrimam. It's called a paktrimam. You are rustling up something. But there also there is a concept or not? To create, you have to conceive. So that's why he said Saikshata. To show that conceiving has to be done by an intelligent being. To negate the idea that Pradhana by itself can create. The term Saikshata is called. Nor can it be Shunyam, because from Shunyam nothing can come. You know why Buddhism is popular in the West? West, the predominant religion is Christianity, isn't it? And when Shunya says, when the Buddha says, everything has come from Shunyam, the Christians like it. Why? The Bible says, God has created the world out of nothing. Now to give them passing marks, we will say, nothing other than himself. उसके लिए passing mark दे दिया Bible को, not for Christ or God, okay? Bible the church को passing mark दे दिया nothing other than himself. You have to say that, because how can you create out of nothing? From nothing, nothing will come. What is your logic to show that from nothing you can create something? Samji, there is a new thing now. From empty space we can create energy. Correct. Not a problem for us. Why? Akasha is matter for us, no? Akasha is the subtlest matter known to human being. That's why we talk about Panchikaranam, etc., etc., and Akasha. Akasha is material. Therefore, out of material only you are creating. You have said Akasha is not material, and then you are saying out of nothing. Yes, sir.
Swamiji, nowadays I've heard that the scientists are doing that nothing is waste, everything is there in the space.
Yeah.
So whatever Krishna has told Arjuna, we can retrieve that and we can have that.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Maybe from the Maya standpoint, there is some validity in the argument. Okay.
That space
That's
is
right.
conserving everything.
Yeah.
So.
See, the rishis could create matter out of their own taposh bhalam and things like that. No? So what was that? Energy being converted into matter. You saw Raja Rishi Vishwamitra doing that. Created the galaxy. Whole this thing, stars and all that. He created out of his own energy. But then at the end of it, the energy is over. Because this is one thing you have to realize. Whether you call it matter, energy or whatever, it's a finite entity. Therefore, when you are doing something out of it, that finite entity will transform itself into the other thing. This will go. Yeah. Yeah, Sanchit.
Maharaj, what is the problem with the idea that creation has always been there?
Because if the creation has always been there, what you are literally saying is there is no cause effect. If there is no cause effect, then that has to be extended to the world also. Because the source is without cause effect. Then this also has to have no. But that is not what you see in the world. In the world we see there is always cause effect relationship. So the seed, the tree comes. And the tree can be the source for another seed. That's okay. But there is a cause effect relationship. So that is contradicted by the steady state theory. Because then you are saying no cause effect.
Yeah.
Swamiji, I have two questions. Continuing with his questions, so cause and effect, basically we understand it is to understand Mithyatva. But once it is understood that it is just an appearance, then that cause relationship also
Correct.
doesn't really...
So we are not
so many-
talking about a real cause effect relationship, we are talking about a mithya cause effect relationship. We accept cause effect relationship in Vyavahara. But whole Vyavahara is mithya for us. Therefore cause effect also becomes mithya. Thank God.
Yes.
Otherwise we will be stuck with Ishvara and Jiva, separate. Or using that energy example, what is there? Sadeva Somedam Agramasit Ekameva Dvitiyam Brahman. From that Brahman all this creation came. So what happened to Brahman? Brahman hai, creation hai. Energy transformed itself. So that's also not true. Because it's a mithya thing. That's why that Srak Bhujangavat example was given. It's very important. Karanatvam is like rope snake, not real, mithya karna. See, Karanatvam is there, you need to understand Karanatvam, because without understanding Karanatvam, you are not going to understand one whole. You are going to take everything as separate. So to show that everything is one, you need the Karanatvam to be there. But Karanatvam implies modifications. It implies transformations. So to negate that, we will say the whole thing is a mithya. To make it easily understood for beginners, there is another idea presented in the Shastra, in the explanations. That is, as Brahman is changeless, is the base, and because you see changes in the world. So the changes are because of Maya. Easier to understand. Then the idea of vikara, vivarta, etc. is put in. Okay? What is vikara? Swaswarupa parityagena rupantarapattihi. Giving up its own form, it assumes another form. Really? Has the cloth given up its form to assume Kruta? But for simpler understanding. Milk becoming curds, etc. Vikara. Then what is Vivartam? Saswarupa aparityagena, without giving up its own nature, rupantarapatti, appearing as something else. So actually Kurta has to be Vivarta or Vikara? No?
Vivarta.
But Vikara also I cut and chopped and did. Can you see? This is all just for making understanding easier. The Upanishad doesn't bother about Vikara and Vivarta. Vasharamam, Vikaro Namadevam, Mrittikeva Satyam. And in Chandogya, giving the example of pot and clay. Okay? Clay is modified to become pot. No? It's a modification. He says, Vikara, what do you call Vikara? Namadeyam. It's only name for a form. Mrittikeva Satyam. Clay alone is the reality there. So there he uses Vikara. He doesn't use the verb the Vikara, Vivarta, etc. That later writers did just to make things easier for the common person to understand. No? We don't have to bother Vikara, Vivarta, etc. Now with advancement of science, we don't have to bother about that only. No? Everything has rearrangement at the atomic level. Bas, ho gaya kaam. I'm sure in time, atomic mishmasher will come. Not the way Rahul Gandhi said it. Rahul Gandhi said, on moon he is going to put up a machine. Aloo डालेगा और gold निकलेगा. Why does he have aloo on the brain? I don't know. But I'm sure that's not far off. When you can put any metal inside and get the metal of your choice outside. Because the only question of rearrangement. As it is now, you're creating, now you can't call them artificial diamonds. They are supposed to be called lab created diamonds. You're creating them. Even an expert will find it difficult to make out the difference between a natural diamond and an artificial diamond. You're already creating it. It's created from carbon and things like that. No? That means what? The day is not far off when you can put some coal and you get a diamond out. Because that's how nature does it anyway. Coal compressed at supra is making it into diamond. High temperature and heat. So same way you can do it with any metal. How much does it take to change this thing? You only have to restructure at the atomic level. So what is it? Vikara, Vivarta? Doesn't matter. Call it what you want. All changes are apparent. So even though Ishvara is present as Karanatva, Sarak Bhujangavat, apparent Karanatva.
Basically, we are establishing cause effect to bring about Ishvara, the intelligent cause
To
behind
bring
the
about
world.
one whole.
One.
That whole creation is one. That one wholeness you need Ishvara there.
Swamiji, I didn't catch what she said. Can you repeat what she said?
He
I
said,
didn't hear that.
so you're bringing Ishvara in. Ishvara is necessary. For what? To understand one whole. No?
Ah.
Yeah. One whole thing. That is one whole. The whole thing is one. Then what is that one? Consciousness. Satya Jnanam Anantam. Tasmat Akashadi Sambhutah. So what is he saying? From consciousness all this is wrong. Then for the sake of understanding, you're using a word Ishvara or Jagat Karanam Brahma. Why? When you use that word, you understand standpoint of explanation. You understand the standpoint from where the speaker is talking. Like when you say Jagat Karanam Brahman, you understand, okay, fine. Or Ishvara, you understand. He's not only talking of pure consciousness, talking about the whole manifestation also. Or he's talking only about Satyam Jnanam Anantam, then you know Mithya is negated, you're talking only about Satyam Jnanam. So what is your standpoint of talking? The word will help you understand that.
So when we talk about one intelligent principle behind the entire cause-effect thing, so when they
Don't
say,
talk behind cause effect, don't say intelligent principle.
okay,
Because a principle is like gravity is a principle.
hmm.
Then you are functioning, measurements,
This is the
etc.
intelligence behind the cause.
The intelligence behind the cause is consciousness.
is consciousness. So when we
See, the cause is, okay, you have to understand this. The cause is intelligence, isn't it? What is intelligence? Consciousness manifests in the mind.
yeah,
Intelligence is manifest consciousness. So what is behind that intelligence? Consciousness. Whereas when in science, medicine or physics, when you are dealing with consciousness, you are talking about the manifested consciousness.
the consciousness manifested in the mind.
Yeah. Isn't it? When you think a thing is alive because it's conscious, what are you talking about that consciousness? Manifested consciousness.
No, so the thing is that the intelligence behind the Jagat, the creation, the intelligence,
So the
that
intelligence,
is consciousness.
once again,
And
the
then that we
intelligence
give Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman or Ishvara depending on whether we are
standpoint,
talking
exactly.
the standpoint.
So there's always an intelligence. The question is, what is the locus of intelligence? If you are saying intelligence is located in a person, then let it be Ishvara. Or you say the intelligence finally is into consciousness.
Yeah.
Consciousness manifest is intelligence. So Jagat Karanatam, the Jagat here is used as a Lakshana to point out Brahman.
Swamiji, I also have another question. Suppose I don't know that Ishvara is Upadana Karanam as well. And if I'm just reading this sentence for the first time, which says that this Jagat has come from Sarva Shakti, Sarvagnaha. Then from Sarvagnaha, I can understand that it's an intelligent cause because he is the one who has the knowledge of it. But how do I understand that it's because I can't just from
No, because you can. Why?
Because
He
it
says,
said
once
Sarva
again,
Shakti.
Jagat has come from this.
No.
There's nothing else. Therefore, by implication, material
to
also
be
has to be. Material has to be the same. And if you are looking for vakyas, the vakya is there. Yatha urnana bhi srijate
Then
granate.
Upanishad.
The whole thing, all the vakyas are there to show abhinnat. That those verse, yatha urnana, that verse is only to show that nimittam and upadana karanam is one and the same. Srijate granate, Mundaka Upanishad.
The spider and
spider.
So there it is to show abhinnatvam. So each verse, this thing has a context there, what it is meant to show. So that's the whole thing. So from this statement, this is just the expansion of the sutra into a sentence, what the sutra is. That's all we have seen up to now. We still have to see other things. A lot more is there.
Swamiji,
Yeah.
this
Yeah?
this this sutra, therefore,
Hmm?
refers to which all Vakyas in the Upanishad?
So,
So,
it not two, it deals with all the Vakyas wherever Brahman is
Mahavakya.
mentioned, wherever Ishvara is mentioned. All those Vakyas come into it. Like for example, Satyam Jnanam Anantam will come here. Why?
Right.
Tasmad etasmad atmana akasha sambhutaha. Then yeto imani bhutani jayante. Then anandat khalvi imani bhutani jayante.
but for example, the verse on Atma from Mandukya will not be.
Mandukya also can be brought in.
How I couldn't see that connection. That's why I asked.
Yes. Atma Chatushpad, say Ishvara sa Sarveshvara, seventh verse. Esha Sarveshvara, Esa Sarvajnaha.
Yeah, it's
Seventh verse. Yeah. That will come into it. Directly it is there. Every Upanishad will have Vakyas like that. So now when you study the Brahma Sutras and then you are looking at the Upanishad, there, yeah, this is connected there, that is connected. Bus, 4 sutras, you the whole Upanishad is connected. Okay.
You make it sound super simple, Swamiji.
Yeah, it is. Once you understand, it is really super simple. Thoda ragadna padta hai for that understanding, that is true. But once you do that, it is super simple. That's why if you have 4 sutras with you, you can sit under a tree and recreate the whole Shastra. You can. Thoda the dexterity is necessary, the sampradaya has to go into you. Once the sampradaya grows into you, then the whole thing is possible. Thoda time lagta hai. Thoda time lagta hai. तो okay. इतना जल्दी भी क्या है, जीना है परसों टाइम. You know that other part of the statement is also necessary. This part. Hey, we have time. Why? Otherwise, you'll get too stressed out. Oh my God, I have to do it now. No, you have to do it now. It's important. Commit. Yeah. You don't get stressed out of the whole thing also. Okay. So good place to stop. More of it we'll see next time. Oh, that's